Richmond. If you've seen any of my previous videos regarding this still life, I'm still working on it. And my other videos were probably gonna make you sick because I'm just learning how to use the Zoom on my video editing software, and I just learned how to use Crash Zoom. So if you feel like you're on a boat and you get a little motion sickness, I'm apologizing. So I'm learning as I go along. That being said, here's my still life, and it's in the same spot as it was for the past 5 videos. So if you're just catching this video, look back at my channel, and they're numbered 1 through 5, I think, at this point. And hopefully there won't be too many more, because the majority of the work is done, and now I go in and I'm gonna be shaping these cans, making them more dimensional, and then adding another layer of color and defining everything better. There was one portion that you're not going to see in the last video of this series, the previous one, which I think is number 5. The blanket here did not get painted because, well, I painted it, but my phone, which is my camera, it ran out of juice, and I didn't realize that it was out of juice. So I was talking to a camera that wasn't on. Anyway, here we go. I'm going to just start where I start. I've got the same palette here that I had the other day, same still life that I had the other day, and I'm just gonna go ahead and pick a spot and start working on it. I've started using, for this painting, at this point in the painting, I've started using my red sable brushes. These are really old, nice brushes. They're probably 25 years old at least, and they are they apply the paint really smoothly. And at this stage of the painting, that's perfect for me. Now what I'm doing is I'm looking at all the colors around this can. There's green, orange, pink, red, brown, gray, green, blue, and I'm gonna put those, I'm mixing them all together, and I'm putting them in the shadow of this can. however I feel like doing it. There's no formula, there's no percentages, nothing like that. I just put it up there, and then I see what it looks like. There's no magic. There's no tricks. Painting is magical, but there's nothing magic about it. There's no secrets to it. You just have to learn how to mix the colors. So you might be wondering how you're supposed to learn how to mix colors. It's by mixing the colors. You just mix the colors and you put up there what you think is gonna be good, and you just go from there. And you look at and consider the get darker and lighter next to each other. You have to consider contrast. And if you look at your subject, the reason you see items is because there is contrast. Your eye is seeing the difference between light and dark. That's contrast. So look at your values. Values is the difference between light and dark. This is, if you squint your eyes, this is gonna pop out at you, and this is gonna recede, or it's not gonna pop out at you because it's darker. And so that you look at your contrast when you're looking at your subject. You look at what pops out at you most. Right now I'm doing these middle tones here. I'm about to do some middle tones. I'm about to do a shadow that's being cast from this noodling can onto my outlaw can. There's gonna be, that's in shadow. So I'm gonna put that in there now. So I have to look at it, I have to squint my eyes at it and see where the darker shades are. And then that's where I know how I know where to put it. But am I picking colors and going, oh, I need, what's in the shadow? Oh, I need the complement of, I know in general the way light works, violet is in the shadow because its complement is yellow. And so in the spectrum, that's how light works. So I just pick some kind of, that's why I mix this kind of purple tone, because I know there's going to be purple in there, but there's also green, there's also blue. It's a spectrum. So there's all colors in it in varying degrees, because all these colors on here that we see are also in the shadow light, in the shadow of this object. There's color in there too. So it's not just purple, but that's a starting point. But just whatever you do not put black in the shadow. Shadows are not gray. They just appear, we read them, our eyes read them as gray. We have to we feel the need to name things because we're human. We feel the compulsion to name things. So we name the color gray, but it's not really, gray. It appears to be gray, but it's really all these colors kind of combined in differing amounts. So you just keep that in mind, and then you just play with your paints. And then as you keep painting, you'll just start working more automatically or intuitively as you go along. You see, I do not have a color wheel anywhere around me. I don't use a color wheel. You don't need a color wheel. You just need to paint intuitively and combine your colors together and just try something up here and go, yeah, okay, that looks good to me. I feel good about that. And then just paint it. and try to pay attention to your values, the difference between light and dark. Also, the difference between bright or intense and dull. So you have bright colors like this, and then you have duller colors like this. Or this is like a duller red, because what do I do to make this red more dull? I add green, which is its complement. And so that will gray it down, if you will. So you just think about color complements. The color complement of red is green, and vice versa. The color complement of blue is orange, and vice versa. The color complement of purple or violet is yellow, and vice versa. And then you work from there. So if you have a combination of blue and green, then the complement of, we call blue-green, is red-orange. It's too chalky. I don't like chalk. It's too chalky. See that? It's not clear enough. It's too chalky. It needs to be more like that. No chalk. No chalk. We want nice clear colors that they know what they're going to be. Yeah, that's better. And here I'm making it thin because number one, it's a shadow, and number two, I need to see my can through it because it's just a shadow. It's not an actual object. There we go. And then, you can't see it, but there's some little black, they're like little black ticks on here. I'm just gonna pop in a little, I just mixed up some black stuff. It's blue and brown that I mixed for this, and I made it on the cool side because I'm looking at my still life and it's a cool black. And so you can make, when you mix blue and brown, you're making gray. You're making dark gray. It reads as black. And to lighten it up, you just add a little white if you need it a lighter value. Otherwise, I can make it a blue black, or I can make it brown black. I want my blue black because blue black is a cool black. And I need a different brush. I need a pointy brush that I don't have over here. There we go. This goes kind of like this. So this is just really very, very subtle. So I just popped it in there, and then I'm just gonna kind of blend it a little so that it's more subtle. I just need to basically do that, just smear it. And then I'm just gonna, I look at my blanket and there is that lemon yellow, it's this yellow green right here. Now I'm just gonna go in there and just put that back in there a little bit so it reads closer to that. I mentioned the last video that I paint around the sides of my canvases, and the reason I do that is because, well, I really don't like framing my paintings, and so it makes it more finished, and I can't afford to frame paintings anyway. And so it allows me to not frame them. And some people, I think their sense of style in their homes is where, you know, originally that's what you painted stuff for, was for people's homes before there were cameras and photos and things like that. And so I just paint around the sides so it looks finished. And it just looks neater, so you'll see me paint around the sides. And they sell these gallery wrapped canvases where there are no staples on the sides, and so you may as well just paint around the sides. So if you continue your composition around the side, it looks cool and it looks better. So that's why I do it. Move this up a little bit. It's like I'm chubby checker. I'm doing the twist. I'm like working on the old waistline. And some bright gold. Let's see. There, I put that up there. It's got to be more orange, so I'm going to add a little orange. I don't know sometimes till I get it up there because it doesn't look the same on here. So sometimes I have to guess, and I can't really guess. I have to like put it up there and see what it looks like. So then I put it up there. I'm like, oh yeah, that's it. And that's how I do it. Now in my light, see how this is cooler blue here? And as this can moves forward like this way, the light is hitting it more directly from my light source. And so it's warmer in the light. It's warmer and lighter. And so that's why you see it cooler, like here's cooler and darker, and then it's warmer and lighter as it comes forward. And then it's pretty bright in the front here. And you see, I followed my curved lines here because the can is curved. So these lines that I put here are my guide. And so when I go in to write my letters, I don't forget that I'm curving them. And then there's this little writing right here that I'm just gonna, I am not gonna write that in because it's really small. I'm just gonna pretend to put it there. Where's that little pointed brush I had? It's got 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got 4 words. See that? So I'm not actually writing those on there. I'm just kind of just like But I'm drawing the letters. But I'm not really defining them. I'm just indicating that there's words there, but I don't really care what they are. The only one I care about is this one. And then there's a bunch of lines that I'm not going to do yet. Now I'm going to let this dry. This is done for now. I'll leave it alone. Oh yeah, and then I've got my little 16-ounce right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just paint that spot, and then I'll put my little indication of that. That's so I don't forget it. So yeah, I didn't forget it. I didn't forget it was there. There, okay. Now I can go in and just jot that in there, just the same way as I did this. And then the bottom of my deer head, I need to just point that a little bit better. For now, I just go like that. And it's more, it's a little shorter on this front side here. Just want to add a little there. Okay. There we go. Okay. Right now I'm going to let that sit. And I'm going to go to my noodling because that's where I feel like going next. Now I'm going to work on my noodling fish. So on Noodle and Fish, he's got orange on him. His local color is kind of orange. And I'm just gonna go ahead and, I did the shape, overall shape of him. So now I'm just gonna draw him in there. I'm not using, he's basically, I said he was orange, but I'm using other colors. I'm not just using orange and putting it up here, straight out of the tube. When I say straight out of the tube, I mean just right over here on the palette, that I squeezed it out on the palette. I'm putting it over here, and then I'm just taking little bits of this and that, and I'm putting it in with it. Because all these colors are influencing Mr. Noodle and Fish. So I'm using them all in the orange. And that unifies the painting. And this, I still don't like exactly where it's at in the orange tone. So I put it up there, and I'm like, and I look at my can, and I'm like, yeah, that needs to be lighter, and it needs to be a little bit less bright. And so that it needs to be a little more yellow. There's a little more yellow in it. Hey girl, there's my kitties here. How you doing, Layla? Hi, honey. A little more yellow, and then I put yellow in, so I'm going to take a tiny bit of, I mixed up some violet, or I'll make some more just because I used some red and blue and made violet. And I already had orange on my, okay, so see, I had orange on there, I put blue and red, and see how it just made it darker. Now I like that color. I'm just gonna add a tiny bit of white to it to lighten it up. And I'm gonna try it again on there. That's closer, that's closer. Now I'm just gonna match it. So sometimes I leave this stuff up here and sometimes I don't. Since I've got several different swatches of color, I'm just gonna go like that and make it easier on myself. Hey girl. Delilah, mommy's gotta stand back here so she can see better. Alright. Alright, now I'm gonna take a little break and wash my hands and feed my girls.